Hi guys, welcome to our daily encounter. In Leviticus chapter 18, we have instructions concerning immorality, sexual immorality within a family group. And it was an abomination to the Lord for them to follow after the practices of the people in the land of Canaan by being involved in incest. And there's a long list of different people, whether it's the aunt or a granddaughter or a daughter-in-law. You're not to expose the nakedness of these various people within your family. And he ties it to the blood, the fact that they're a blood relative. And this becomes significant for them as far as understanding what is proper, what is not proper when it comes to sexual relations. But it also has a spiritual significance to us as well. Whenever we talk about exposing or uncovering the nakedness of someone, really what it's speaking of is the exposing of someone's flesh. And this reminds us of what happened back in the garden at the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Whenever Adam and Eve ate of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, it was at that point that they realized that they were naked and their flesh had been exposed because they knew right from wrong. And whenever right and wrong, good and evil comes to our awareness, the flesh is exposed. In other words, the weakness of the flesh, the deeds of the flesh become exposed when held in the light of the law. And so the flesh was exposed. And whenever we tie that into Leviticus chapter 18 here, and then also other things spoken about in the New Testament, we see that this principle applies to us as well when we think about our brothers and sisters in Christ as part of the household of God, as part of our family. And not in literally exposing their nakedness, although that might apply in some cases, but in the sense of exposing the flesh in another person. In other words, being a stumbling block to others. You know, we are a spiritual house. We are to be those who walk according to the Spirit, but we also know that we are still in these fleshly bodies. And we as brothers and sisters need to be sensitive to that and be aware of that. And not to do anything that would cause the flesh in a brother or sister to become exposed. That is, where the deeds of the flesh become exposed in that person. It might be that this is definitely true with a husband and wife. You know, we know what buttons to push to get at the other person, but that could be true between friends or even other church members, in which we kind of just play off of their weaknesses and cause them to act in a way that exposes the flesh, that causes them to act in a fleshly way. And we talked about the deeds of the flesh previously in yesterday's devotion, but that list of deeds of the flesh found in Galatians chapter 5 can become exposed in another person in those times when we either act in a way that might excite lust in that person, or might excite anger in that person, or might cause that person to want to be divisive, or any other way that we might manipulate another person. We don't want to be involved in that. We don't want their flesh exposed. We want them walking according to the Spirit, just as we want to walk according to the Spirit. There's enough, as Jesus said, there's enough stumbling blocks in the world. It's inevitable that stumbling blocks will come, but woe to that man through whom it comes. It would be better for a millstone to be hung around his neck and he be cast into the sea than that he would cause one of these little ones to stumble. And we just don't want to do that. We don't want to do anything that would cause another person to respond in the flesh. We want to be the type of people who encourage people to walk in the Spirit, to help people grow in their spiritual life, to help people be encouraged to walk closer to the Lord and be more devoted to the Lord, not causing them to drift back into the flesh and do things that would tempt them to go backwards into the life of the flesh. Through Christ, we have been crucified. As Galatians chapter 5 also talks about, those who are in Christ have crucified the flesh with its passions and desires. And we do that by walking according to the Spirit. And we want to keep our brothers and sisters in the Spirit, not to tempt them to act in accordance to the flesh. We don't want to expose the nakedness of their flesh in that way. So this Leviticus chapter 18, I think, can have great spiritual application as well as practical application as well. And hopefully, as we read our reading today and as you get into that chapter, you can see those things come to light. So with that, guys, I do thank you for watching the video today. Hope you guys have a great day. Love you guys. God bless.